Okay, to the point of the video. A couple of days ago, I had a friend actually send me a message asking me about some sourdough starter. I was really excited. I am really excited. I'm really honored that she contacted me. Of course, I'm sure that it shouldn't be a surprise considering I've made a bunch of sourdough videos because sourdough is just so beautiful and it's versatile and it's so much fun to teach. There's so much science. There's so much history behind sourdough. Here's my most recent, put in the refrigerator and forget it for a little while. But here's one that I forgot was in there. Here's one that, you know, obviously I was working on as a discard jar for a while and stuck it to the back of the refrigerator and forgot that it even existed. It has a ton of hooch on top. Also, the top is stuck and I can't get it off, but that's okay. I'll get Big Man Callus to come in here and take care of that for me here in a little bit. While we're feeding hers and getting it ready to double and be delivered to her in a couple, probably tomorrow evening. Sourdough is really easy to share. Obviously, many people would probably understand that, and I'm sure that there's a lot of you going, why do you feel like you need to give us that information? Well, because not everybody has the information. And, you know, there are new people come into this every single day looking for advice, looking for education, looking for guidance. And you know something? When I first started, it was my friend Gabby who gave me a starter. And I told her, I was like, don't give me that starter. I'm going to kill it because, listen, I have never had a good experience with sourdough starter. Ever. I told her that, you know, most of my sourdough experiments had consisted of ending up with a weapon on accident instead of a loaf of bread. So, you know, she kind of laughed and she was like, you know, Whitney, with as much as you do, I'm pretty sure that you can figure it out this time. This time you're going to do just fine. And you know what? She was right. She was right. She sent me home with some sourdough discard and I fed it. She, you know, gave me some recipes to follow, led me to a couple of good websites. And before you knew it, I was really good at sourdough. And that was 3-4 years ago. In the end, depression got the best of that sourdough starter that Gabby gave me. That's really sad, but it's the truth. And I did not have a discard jar left because the refrigerator that was holding that died. So this is my second starter. Its name is Frankenstein because it was born on October 31st, 2024. And I think it was 2022 when Gabby gave me some of hers. So this is turning into a full circle moment where, you know, somebody else is inheriting my starter. One other person has ended up with some of my starter. I don't know if she still has it alive or not. She'll probably sound off in the comment section, which is absolutely welcome and fine. I would love to know how that's going or not going. It doesn't matter. No judgment here. I just told you I killed my first starter that my friend gave me. Obviously, I have no judgments to make. So I'm going to feed mine quite a bit, obviously, because it's in a gallon-sized jar, and that, you know, we're a gallon-sized family over here. Now, this may not be able to be gifted till maybe 2 days from now because it may not rise for a little bit. And that's okay. Sometimes it takes it a little while to wake it back up, but that's okay. I mean, you know, oh, I'm trying to break it. Sometimes it takes me a while to wake up too because I don't want to, especially when it's cold. And I just pulled it out of a cold dormancy. So, you know, and that's a really great point to make too, is like when you're working with sourdough, sometimes people will pull their sourdough starter out and expect it to bounce back like that. And if it's been in there for a long time, especially if you don't stir the hooch in, now a lot of people don't, and that's perfectly fine. Pour your hooch off if you want to. But I like to stir mine in so that the active cultures inside that hooch help bring my starter back awake a little bit quicker. Ugh. That's a nasty one, guys. Don't drink that one. It's something to do with sour cherry. Callis brought me a Diet Coke earlier. That was really nice of him. I wasn't going to drink it, but he was so sweet. He thought of me. He brought it, and I really appreciate it. So, and I'm so sick and tired of these daggum flies. My fly swatter is missing. I actually committed to a fly swatting video on TikTok, and it hasn't happened because both of my fly swatters went missing. It's annoying. Is that going to be like an ASMR type thing? Like, is that why that was asked of me? Because I was a little bit confused by that. Like, bruh, you just want to watch me swat flies in my kitchen? Like, you want to see me go like full blown Terminator on some flies on a video? Like, I mean, maybe that is exactly what they want. Give the people what they want, you know? But like, I don't know. Like, I know many of us grew up watching our grandparents swatting flies, and for some people that might actually be a sound of comfort. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm just adding a whole bunch of flour to that. And then obviously I'm going to add just a little to this one until it's the consistency that we want. And guys, for all I know, it's going to double before I go to bed because it's so happy to be being fed. And I get to deliver it to her tomorrow morning. I don't know, but I'll keep you updated. And if it's not, again, that's okay. You know, things like sourdough, even yeast bread, really. Yeast bread is also something you have to have some patience with because, you know, yeast takes time to go up. Now, hold up. I don't know if y'all can see that. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, no. Okay. Do you see all those bubbles? Yeah, she's nice and happy to be being fed. So, anyway, sourdough is one of those things, though, that you have to be willing to stay patient with. You have to be willing to accept what is going on, you know, around you too. You know, like if the temperature outside is super duper hot, guess what? Your sourdough starter may double in 45 minutes. Now that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but not by much. I know many of my sourdough sisters and brothers can attest to this. But if it's real hot outside, real hot and dry, guess what? You may have a sourdough starter doubled in 45 minutes. If it's really cold outside and, you know, therefore making it kind of chilly inside your house, guess what? Your sourdough starter may struggle to double. So, you know, there's a lot of science and weather and all of that stuff that goes into sourdough. A majority of it is not necessarily knowledge of, you know, the weather and stuff. It's just watching your sourdough starter. Because I don't want to scare anybody into not doing sourdough starter because there's so many variables. But what is there not a lot of variables in? You know, there's so many variables. Like if you have ever made candy before, oh Lord, y'all, candy. One time I was making some peanut brittle and it was really nasty outside. I mean, I was bored, so I was like, hey, you know what? Peanut brittle, that'll be yummy afterwards. It's immediate satisfaction almost. A lot of work, but you know, almost immediate satisfaction. So I decided I was going to make some peanut brittle. That was a bad idea. It was raining outside. It was super humid inside the house. It was cool. And I'm going to tell you something. That was not peanut brittle. It was peanut something. So but it was really good. I mean, you know, it made a huge mess. It was hard to eat because it was like eating some of the thickest caramel ever, and it got stuck to your fingers and your teeth and all that stuff. It was not fun. But you know, it's things like that. And the good thing is that with sourdough, when you're facing obstacles like that or adversity like that, it's pretty easy to learn what to do, you know. So like if it's super dry outside, maybe feed it a little less flour, a regular amount of water. If it's super cold and damp outside, feed it a little more flour. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory in the end. I like to have a pretty thick batter, but one thing I have learned is that if you don't put it in a place where it's going to get super warm and it has time to rise on its own instead of being forced to rise through heat, you do end up with, I think, a superior loaf. And I know there's going to be people that disagree with that, and that's perfectly okay. That's my opinion, okay? But then there's going to be people that fully agree. So that's pretty important to note too. You know, when I first started a really long time ago, this is whenever I first really started trying to work with sourdough. I think this was 2015, maybe 2014, when I tried to make my first sourdough starter. And I'm sure that I did have a starter. It's just that I didn't know what I was doing, and I was going off of written instructions, not videos. I should have been looking up videos, but there weren't, to my recollection, I don't think there were a whole lot of sourdough videos out there in 2014 to 2015. You know, when I was making my bread bricks. And so, you know, I'm pretty sure I did have some good starters. I think I remember the 3 times that I tried, I actually did end up with a double at the end. But I didn't know how to use it. So I kept baking my starter as the bread. And, you know, as embarrassing that is now, I look back and I'm like, well, to be fair, and I have looked back at the instructions that I was using, because I still have the book. I'm not going to name the book, but I have read those instructions and I followed them to a T, and it did not work because there was missing instructions. I just didn't know. You know, I still support that, the person that wrote that book, but as far as like writing how-to essays, they're no. And I'm not saying I'm good at it either, but I also did not write a cookbook. So there's that. Y'all, and it is hot in here. I need one of those spray bottles with the fan, you know. Here's mine in my gallon size jar. And here's my friend's. We're going to just make sure she doubles so that way when she gets it, it's ready to cook with. Y'all are so crooked.
Oh no.
What happened? Oh wait, I see it. I have her a few things that I've made over the years. All I could find was a paper Aldi bag, so that's what we're sending it in. The first thing that I grabbed was a bar of honeysuckle soap. I've never sold any of my soap. I just keep making it and using it. So that's something I'm sending. It smells delicious. It's also tallow soap. So I'm sending her with this little tumbler that I sublimated a couple of years ago. I thought she would enjoy that. A cocoa butter cashmere candle that I made for Christmas last year. And it smells just divine. And I have a recipe card to write the recipe that I use. Y'all see it's very, very well loved to make my sourdough bread. So I figured that those would all go really well together. And then by tomorrow, when I take it to go be delivered, there will be a sourdough loaf in a bread bag. I'm gonna go ahead and go write this recipe down. This is what it looks like so far. And I think that's it for this video. I'll take some pictures. I'll post them on my platforms and y'all can see. So y'all have a great day, a great rest of your week, and I hope y'all have just a very, very blessed rest of your July, because today is the 31st, tomorrow is the 1st, and I cannot believe it's already almost August. All right, see y'all next time. Bye.